Fantasy is all the rage on TV, but while most of the attention is given to the big, expensive live-action shows, animation is not being left behind. Season 2 of The Legend of Vox Machina is bigger, meaner, and has a better balance between absurdist comedy and serious fantasy adventuring. It may anger some hardcore fans with how many liberties it takes with the source material, but it's all in service of telling one cohesive tale that nevertheless continues to capture the essence of improvised Dungeons & Dragons campaigns and the chaos that tends to fuel them. Based on the hugely popular Critical Role live streams, Season 2 picks up right where the previous one ended, with a group of dragons calling themselves the Chroma Conclave invading Tal'Dorei and taking control of its capital. The first episode alone is a fantastic and at times terrifying half-hour of TV, with tons of action and mayhem caused by the dragons destroying everything and everyone in their path in different and still very painful ways. Titmouse Inc. does a terrific job with the animation, even if the computer effects are still a bit wonky at times. With the dragons now in charge, it is up to Vox Machina to go on a MacGuffin hunt and find sacred weapons that can aid them in the fight against the Conclave, lest the whole realm be destroyed. While the show has always taken liberties, Season 2 feels more distant from its source material than the previous installment. Even if you're not familiar with Critical Role, Season 1 felt looser and more improvised in a way, like the actual live streams. By comparison, this season has a lot more plot to grapple with, and the script reflects that with a tighter narrative where every scene serves a distinct purpose, whether to advance the plot or the character arcs. And there is a lot of ground covered this season, with multiple locations, dozens of supporting characters, and side quests that give The Legend of Vox Machina a sense of accomplishment, even if the larger story is too big to cover in a single season. The result is a proper fantasy epic, with a grand quest, huge repercussions, and larger-than-life villains. The season sadly falls victim to an overabundance of tropes and cliches typical of fantasy and of tabletop RPGs.
Oh, that's a new record. Usually takes us 10 minutes to get kicked out of a palace.
But the well-rounded characters make them work, with a natural 20 in charisma.
This is actually kind of cozy.
Season 2 is also much more focused on developing each character as they embark on this huge quest. Everyone from Scanlan to Grog to Keyleth gets an episode centered around them, deepening their backstories. Granted, not everything goes their way, so expect a lot of very emotional moments and personal sacrifices that prove Vox Machina is not just a group of opportunistic adventurers, but true heroes.
It's like the end of the world.
Of course, it's still a comedy, and Season 2 doubles down on the absurdism while finding a better balance between the crude jokes and the serious story.
Before I met you, I would have found this very upsetting.
Though the writers found a way to make the improvised moments from the livestream feel structured enough that newcomers may not notice, followers of Critical Role should be delighted to see fan-favorite moments make their way to the animated series. Whether you're a fan of Critical Role hoping to relive some of its best moments, or you're looking for a great fantasy show that provides a more lighthearted and earnest approach to the genre, The Legend of Vox Machina continues to roll a critical hit.
What?
Season 2 of The Legend of Vox Machina is bigger and funnier than its predecessor, moving away from the prologue to a proper fantasy epic. Despite an overabundance of tropes, the season gets by thanks to its charming voice cast and endearing characters, which get deepened in exciting ways this season. For more TV reviews, check out what we thought of The Last of Us Season 1. And for everything else, stick with IGN.